And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So tonight, I'm actually going to be interviewing the cast of Bonded by Tragedy. I have the director himself, Creighton Hobbs, with me. I also have Michelle Rossie with me as well, not my co-host, but not to get confused with my co-host. But I also have Jasper, and I also have, of course, Jay with me. Jay, I actually had the privilege to interview him a couple of days ago. So, with further ado, let's go on ahead. I'm excited to have everybody here to do this interview, and let's get started. And hey guys, how's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Hi.
Great.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. It's always good to have everybody over here in good company to do this interview. And of course, I also enjoyed the film. I just want to point that out here too. Of course, I'm a sucker for mobster movies and stuff like that. So my thing here is Crichton. Okay, so I know this movie is about your little short film that you had a while back called Locked In. So when did you decide to go ahead and come out of the gate with, you know what, I want to expand on this short story. I have a great group of people that I know that can actually get this job done, but how do I go through the process of making this short story into an expansion of that short story and make it a different, original, and authentic, also too authentic?
Well, that was pretty easy because when you make a movie that you did over 20 years ago, you have plenty of time to think of, dang, I wish I could redo this. You have 20 years of sitting around thinking about it. But I knew I wanted to keep the core kind of key moments from the short, but expand into deeper things the character Bobby, who's played by Jasper, and Michelle, who is played by Michelle. I know, and as well as Uncle Vincent, that's played by Jay, right? So I was like, there's so many more deeper avenues I could take and just give the story a little bit more depth to it. And that's what I did. I was like, well, most people have a 25 years, wedding anniversary. I'll have a 20-year anniversary of the short film that got me in this crazy business. So why not? Let's do it.
Right. I gotcha. But what was some of the challenging stuff that you guys had to endure while filming? What was some of the fun stuff that you guys had when filming? That's right, Crichton. I'm really coming up with the questions here, man. So
y'all go ahead and answer. I'm going to go get me a vodka and tonic.
Heard that.
But
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you really wanted us to answer that?
Yeah.
Well, I know what I know. When I was shooting, the days that we were shooting, I guess some of the issues that we were having, just like any indie film set, you're gonna run into unforeseen things that that are unexpected. Obviously weather is a biggie, of course. Obviously when you're shooting outside scenes and whatnot, people taking a little bit more time to do certain things and show up and possibly makeup and just and not too big, not too big of stuff, right, Creighton? It went pretty well, but just your typical little mishaps here and there, but it's expected.
Be scheduling.
Expect the unexpected. Yeah, no doubt. But
And then I had a child. So.
Congratulations
that's
to
right,
you.
Jasper. That's right. Jasper got maternity leave. He really got maternity leave for real. Yeah, he had a baby.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
But Jasper, my question is this: so, what did you do to get set up for the role of playing your character, though? Too. That's something I wanted to know.
So Bobby, the way Creighton said it was, he was more of emotionally damaged. So he worked on pushing all the emotions down from when he was a kid. So I was going more for the robotic move for it, which I kind of like that normally anyway. So, but so it kind of worked for this character, and you throw in a little bit of emotion throughout it, especially mostly anger. If you notice, mostly Bobby adult form is anger, as opposed to the young form, is love and kind. So I'm kind of just focused on being a little more aggressive and robotic in the acting.
I can definitely tell with the difference between whenever it was young Bobby and then older Bobby, and then him coming back into the life of what he knew back when he was a kid, and then getting involved with everything. So yeah, I can definitely tell your level of anger and balance that you had playing the character. The other thing was the bordello that you guys went into, and then trying to play off of that narrative. But that was also probably something that was also kind of challenging as well, to try and be reserved, but also not be quite reserved because of the fact that you're having to play this basic type of role. You know?
Did y'all hear that?
I don't know. Somebody went to the bathroom back there and behind. I don't know.
Okay, look, I'm getting older, man. You can't play me playing sound effects if it's not editing on me. You know, I'm like, did y'all hear that? You know?
But
I don't know.
But yeah, but that's what I was gonna say was I just like the balance between it, you know.
It was
So
good contrast.
it was definitely. I bet it was challenging for you on that part though too. Whenever it has trying to play someone that's well reserved, and then also trying to be something out in the forefront whenever it becomes that gangster type thing too, with this Goodfellas kind of vibe to it. So yeah.
Right. Well,
But,
and
yeah.
too, like Michelle, who plays Michelle, you know, her acting, it was kind of, you know, and I'm not going to steal your thunder on this because I want, you know, you to expand on this, but it was almost like a yin and yang, a sun and dark type thing that I tried to get across with those two characters. Like,
yeah, this was without giving too much away for the ending. For me, there was a, you know, working with my son, who wasn't my son, just getting to know and to work with, you know, a young child actor, which was a lot of fun because he just some takes you just wouldn't know what was going to happen, but he was adorable, and some of it fed into, you know, these beautiful gifts of you just, you know, that is life with a young kid. You know, they're just going to be them, which is so fun to watch and just see that fearlessness in play. But then also, you know, to have this other side that comes out eventually toward the end, and some of the creative stunt work, if you will, that we had to incorporate in this was really a lot of fun, but also, you know, a challenge as well, because we wanted to make sure it balanced, you know, each other.
Right, I got that. But yeah, the thing that I really liked was whenever you have young Bobby and he's trying to support y'all and everything at an early age, and he knows that he can't do it, but he's trying and willing to try anything that he can to be able to do that. And it was actually very expressive on how he was trying to do that, but also too, I like how expressive you were trying to be a mother, trying to guide him into being a man that you want him to be. But he had other plans though too, because he's basically the man of the house. He's basically the person that's on his own in a sense, where basically it's up to him to take care of you versus you having to take care of him, and he has to grow up fast. But that's something that I really thought that was really fascinating to me, was the mother and son dynamic. I thought the chemistry between you two actually worked and stuff like that, because I've seen mother and son dynamics all the time, and sometimes it's very forced. This one was very settled. You can definitely tell that you had that caring for him, and then you try and persuade him into a life that isn't so dark. But, you know, darkness finds a way in sometimes to where, you know, people go on their own adventure, if you will. But yeah, I definitely have to say I love the mother and son dynamic between you guys.
yeah.
Very welcome. But yeah, another thing too was, my question is this: how did you come up with the idea of trying to give Jay a red car and make him? Because basically you're supposed to be hidden. You have him all decked out in red. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah, thank you for that, Creighton. That was an awesome experience too, pimping that thing. That was nice. That was nice.
well, okay. So that reverts back to my Goodfellas influence. Okay, so in Goodfellas, you know, Henry Hill's in the top, you know, looking down on the street, and you see the gangsters pull up in the nice cars and the flash car and stuff, and they come walking out in the nice suit and stuff like that. That's what I was like, well, this is kind of like my little natage, my little hat, tipping the hat to Goodfellas.
I think that was a Bronx Tale,
and the Bronx Tale as well. That's right, and Bronx Tale. I forgot about saying that. Thank you, Jay. But like, I was like, I was like, if we're gonna do it, we might as well do it right. And I was like, let's give Jay a nice, good ride, a good red ride, And hey,
right,
that
You see, though, that also works, though, too, because the uncle and nephew dynamic where he was trying to show him the ropes and what it's like to be a gangster and trying to go into that darkness. And whenever young Bobby goes into that life, he's just sucked into that darkness so much that there's no light left in him. And it's all that about that struggle of that binded by tragedy that you have up there. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that he's binded by this darkness that his mother didn't want him to go in. And, and so now he's sucked into this. And even when he gets out of prison, he's sucked back into it even more because of the fact that, he gets out of prison and the next thing you know, he winds up with the same friend that's bailing him out. It has this Blues Brothers kind of feel to it where he's like, okay, well, guess what? We're going to go over here. Do you want anything? Nah, man, I'm good. Next thing you know, they wind up getting in trouble. So not even 5 minutes out of prison. So it has this Blues Brothers kind of feel to it that I thought that's what I got out of that part. It was like a scene from Jake and Elwood where basically Jake picks him up in a police car and next thing you know they get into some trouble. So that's what I got out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and like I wanted it to, I don't know, I wanted to show that there was a good chemistry between, adult Bobby and his, best friend Jimmy, who's played by Julian, who we call Juju. And so, I wanted to show that there was a deep connection with them two, type of thing. And, and actually I had filmed earlier. Even Jay was like, hey, where's the young Jimmy? But, like, oh, God, I mean, I got to have to get rid of or fire or get rid of somebody and then hire a new Jimmy and this and that. And finally, oh, my God, it was just like Trevor, who played young Bobby. I was like, Trevor, you just going to have to do this thing by yourself, We'll call Jay and see if he's free. Jay will come and do an improv shot,
That was also another thing was like how much of this was improv for you guys, like, and how much were you able to expand on some of the characters and stuff like that you wanted to expand on? Because that was something else I wanted to ask all three of you guys was the improvisation, because I find improv very fascinating when it comes down to film. So that was something I wanted to know about.
There was a good bit of where we took a lot of the lines on paper as a backbone, and then we worked from there. And then played around with a few things, and then we got a shot that we liked. So there was a decent amount of improv throughout it.
There was once, okay, this is for all three of you guys too, but what would be like the big improv moment for you guys that you absolutely loved within doing this movie too?
I'll go first. So when we were having the scene in the kitchen, when my son is getting ready for school and there's cereal involved, and although I don't have children, I have nieces, nephews, a lot of friends with kids. And we were I send my son in to get ready, and I just picked up the bowl and just started eating it. That's such a mom thing. Creighton's like, oh my God, that was great. And I'm like, well, it's just such a mom thing. I mean, I was kind of a little hungry too, because we hadn't had a break. I was like, I'm just gonna eat while we're but it felt natural, it felt real. But it was nice that Creighton just gave us, obviously and especially with Jasper and I, like not knowing each other before this and just having to quickly find that chemistry. A lot of the stuff with the chocolate in the park, and we just it was really hot that day, and there was no lie about that chocolate being melted. So we were able to just have fun with that as well. So it was nice to help us quickly connect. and to kind of bring that chemistry to the show.
Got it all over your face, huh, Jasper?
If you
Was
listen
that
carefully-
improv? Was that
Slightly. He had it where he wanted to try that.
Oh,
But
okay.
when we get up, the one part in the end part of that, when we break the embrace, you could hear slightly where I said, "Oh shit, it's all over me."
That's funny.
That was a caveat to the kid when we sent him to his room, and then you could hear in the background where he's playing, it's like "woo," and he's throwing stuff around. That was funny.
But yeah, I like a little bit of realisticness from it. But what about for you, Jay?
Jay? I know, Jay, you got some good ones.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot, and this goes with a lot of the stuff that I've acted in, a lot of the films and stuff like that, I've asked them, how verbatim, they want me to be with the dialogue and stuff like that. Because I mean, a lot of times though, I felt that directors kind of give you that, that artistic kind of that leeway to kind of just play with the character and just kind of make it your own, and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff that you see, I say the majority of stuff that you see me in, a lot of the films that you see me in is really, the director and writers say, as long as we get this point across, basically, you're open to just kind of just embrace the character and just kind of say it how you would say it. So I'm very big onto asking, and getting permission to do that, because I definitely like to bring some authenticity to the character on my, delivery and stuff like that. So the majority of the stuff that you see me say really is all me. I basically I'm like, Creighton, okay, so I'm good with that. Okay. So I basically just scratch out everything and just kind of write off to the side, my own thing. But like I said, they say, as long as you get the point across, then I guess, just kind of do your thing. So that's what I do. And then of course, this character really doesn't take much of me acting, because I mean, as some of you interviewed me the other day, but
Right.
I think more than anybody, I can relate to this film, I guess you'd say, a lot more than a lot of people, because of the fact that my character, Uncle Vinny, I grew up with a mafioso father figure, in real life. So and he kind of took me under his wing, like Uncle Vinny, like my character did with young Trevor, or Bobby, right? Barbarino. Yeah. So yeah, to be able to just kind of play that out, in a film and stuff like that, it was, very, very easy for me to tap into and stuff like that, to bring to life this character that I basically grew up with, so it was genuine. And I think I did all right with it, Creighton.
I think you did pretty good.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you too, one of the most memorable things is when we were shooting the scene where we were, Uncle Vincent was bringing young Bobby into there to be initiated, right?
Yeah.
Into that small little area, that little gas station, but little tire shop place.
Yeah, right.
But when we was on break and we was setting up for to start shooting, Jay walked up to me and he's like, hey, let me ask you something. Is this movie based on real life or what? And I was like, no, it's not. It's fiction. He's like, all right, man, I'm just kind of wondering,
Is it starting to get a little real? Right.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, did you? Yeah.
I felt like going into my New York acting thing, like, oh, this is beautiful. It's like,
Forget about it. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Right. But I have a question though for you though, Ryan. Like, okay, I know that in the gas station itself, it has to be a small confined space that you're having the initiative done. So was that challenging to shoot? Because it has to be a confined space in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was. And not to mention that there was a huge mirror right there. right in the middle
Mm.
of the room. So, oh God, that was a headache of like, oh, I got to get the camera over this way just a bit, but try to, figure it out to where it'll look right on
Right.
film, but yeah, it was challenging to, take after take after take after take, but
Right.
overall, it's kind of like I've told everybody, and I'm sure Michelle and Jasper and Jay will tell you, it's like just trust the madness I'm putting you through, because in the end you'll see it. It'll make sense in the end.
Yeah.
Right, because you don't know. Here's the thing, as actors and stuff like that too, you guys don't know what you're faced with and everything. You're doing these scenes that you don't know how these scenes are gonna be done and within the editing process. Because everything's all scattered around, and then once everything's being filled into that editing process, and then you see it for the very first time, it's like, oh, okay, so this is where it makes sense here. This is what I did this scene here. Okay, so yeah, I can definitely see how, as an actor and stuff like that too. It's like, okay, I don't get what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it anyways because it's my job to do it. But hopefully it'll make sense later on. Because I've watched the movies that made us, for example, where basically they were making a movie and they didn't even have a clue of what they were making. They were just making a movie. So yeah, I totally get it. So
Yeah.
my other thing is this. Okay, so when it comes down to the storylines and stuff like that, kind that you created, like, how long did it take you to write this as well?
It took me maybe about a week, really, about 1 week, and I had it. I think it was about a week, and then I wrote it and sat on it for a little while, and then fix it and try to rewrite it. Go through another revision of it, and then by that time I'm so burnt out with it. I'm like, well, it is what it is. We'll fix it. We can improv it if it don't sound right. Like when it's on being spoken.
So piggybacking off of the short film that you did prior to, right, with this, so it was kind of just you filling in the gaps a little bit, right?
Yeah. And adding in, like, I wanted to add in that character of Danny Owens that's played by Blake Blasco, but I was like, I don't want to just add in a typical thing. I was like, let's throw in something different. And that's why, like, Blake really worked on his Irish accent, and I mean, so he did really, and we actually de-aged him through special makeup stuff and very little digital effects. But like at the premiere, for example, he said Blake said, I had 3 people walk up to me and said, "What, was you in that movie?" And he said, "No, that wasn't me. I'm just here to support my friends." And so that shows you how well it was done. Like, people at the premiere was like, was that you up there? He said, "No, that wasn't me."
I like that little trick of the aging process for an indie film, because you don't see that in indie films that much or anything like that. So doing a de-aging process, usually in indie film, you would actually have to get another actor to do some type of de-aging effect, not effect, but just having somebody else to play the character. But you went on ahead and got some de-aging effects, which is actually pretty cool. So I think that was actually pretty cool that as an indie director with indie actors, getting that actually added more to those characters when people realize, because it's not. Here's the thing. This is the problem I have with de-aging processing. And it's different when you have de-aging process just for the simple fact of having de-aging, and just not there for the narrative of the story. You have it there for the narrative of the story for a reason, because it fits that character and it benefits that character. And therefore, that's why I like it. And yeah. But Michelle, my question, I do have a question for you though.
Okay.
So how long have you been acting? And how many movies have you been in as well? That's something I wanted to know.
I've been in a lot of indie shows. I moved down to New Orleans 10 years ago, and probably a couple years in, funny enough, our HR director told me about, like, hey, there's a lot of stuff filming in New Orleans. You can be background extras. Here's this website. So I signed up on it and got reacquainted with my childhood dream of being an actor. You know, but as you grow up, you know, mom and dad were like, yeah, that's fun, ha ha ha, but you know, you need to work. So that just opened it up. And then so I started to take acting classes and, you know, going out for roles, and stumbled upon Creighton through actually another project that we connected. And then he's like, hey, I have this other show that I'm producing and doing. Can you audition for it? So I got to work with him. But yeah, I've worked with several more New Orleans independent directors, a couple now from Mississippi area. And then I just worked with a director out of California on a short. So
Nice.
yeah, so a lot of air, and I do some theater as well. There's a community theater in St. Bernard called The Company, so I'll give a shout out to them that I've worked on. We did Steel Magnolias and The Crucible. I've done with them, but they usually do like 4 programs a year. So that helps you keep on your toes as an actor when you are doing theater, because improv comes in handy. So it's just a nice balance to have that. So yeah, and
Right.
I'm excited to be able to work with Creighton on another project coming up, which I just found out about that I'm very happy to be part of.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And people don't realize this. There's a difference between theater and doing something on film, because of the fact that the trajectory of your voice has to be very well projected on stage versus being on camera. On camera, you're able to be glued into this character without having to project so much.
Mhm.
In theater, you have to project your voice to thousands of people into an auditorium as well. So that's
Yeah,
something
exactly.
Go
The
ahead.
director I've worked with, the first production I did with him, he'd be like, Michelle, this isn't film, it's theater. Because in film, right, this is your close-up, this is you. So you're having that very intimate conversation with someone, but in theater, you're having a very intimate conversation, not looking at the person. And so I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. But then when you do that, it just brings so much more strength in your character, because it's usually easier to go bigger. And again, I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands. So theater is yeah, just being able to bring it down to this little box that, you know, becomes very close with your audience in a different way.
I know that you wanted to say something, Jay.
Yeah, no, I was just going to go off of, I just recently did an on-stage production myself. I was a part of one anyway in Baton Rouge, and it was my first time doing an on-stage thing. So it definitely bumps up your acting, you know, to a whole nother level. Because I mean, you know, being on film is one thing, but being in front of a live audience is a completely different, you know, beast. Because I mean, you better know your stuff, because there ain't no cut. You know what I'm saying? There's you better come correct, you know, and know your stuff. And also too, I think, you know, it's awesome to be able to you know, perform in front of a live audience and get that reaction, that
Yes.
you know, that real time reaction to kind of feed off of, you know what I'm saying, and kind of, you know, it kind of lets you know where you're at, or where, you know, how to like take it up a notch or whatever. You know, versus, you know, with film and stuff like that, you just got to hope, you know, that it, you know, it delivers well, and the audience receives it well, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you don't know, obviously, but yeah, that's two told, man, that was like, whoa, this is different. This is different for sure. So hats off to you theater people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, congrats to you, Jay, because it's a big undertaking. And John, to your point, when you were talking about editing, you know, as actors, sometimes we don't know what the final cut is going to be. You know, you do 4 or 5 takes and you're like, oh, you know, I felt like a couple of those were really good. I wonder what editor will pick. But yet at theater, it's like, you know, right away,
Right.
the choice worked or not.
And not only that, but you could also feel the tension of the crowd, though, too. It's like, okay, I'm not becoming this character. They're not feeling what I'm doing
And
either.
it can be
Because
different every night, depending on the crowd, which is lovely. You know, but again, you just have to always bring your A game, and everyone else does as well.
Oh,
But
yeah.
film is great though, because it gives you time to find those fun moments. You know, if something doesn't sit right, you can be like, excuse me, can we go back to one and redo this? Like, I think I have something more. You can't kind of do that on stage. So
Yeah.
But what about for you, Jasper, though? I mean, how long have you been doing acting? When did you know that, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I got bitten by the acting bug, and this is something that I really want to try and pursue.
To be honest, it was random. I actually
Those are always the
met
best.
I met a friend through one of my best friends, which was Michael, which is what he was talking about, and he was going through film directing school at the time, and he was doing his final movie. And so the first thing I did for him was this little YouTube short. One thing was like I played a zombie, and I thought it was fun. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do some more with him. I'll do some more with him. The Navy coming out, but I'll do some more with him. Shorts that I did with him, and then a bunch of his little movie directing friends, and it just I found Creighton. I think was on some Facebook thing, right? Well, I saw you at that creature feature thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think I saw something you posted about for Bobby or whatever, and then auditioned for that, and hey, here we are.
Yeah. Oh.
So
Yeah,
nothing big like these two, but hey, it was fun.
But still, it's a start, though. I mean, you're starting to get that small resume a little bit, climb the ladder a little.
That's
You gotta,
right.
you gotta start from the bottom to work your way up. So, nothing is actually given to you. You have to earn it. So,
That's right.
I did a few extra stuff too, like she was talking for over there in New Orleans, which big productions, fine and all, but oh god, a lot of sitting there.
Hurry up and wait, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's one thing about acting, though. You have to wait maybe 16 hours before your actual thing, and you're over there all day long. That's one of the things that I learned off the Sopranos podcast, where they were saying, man, we were there from 8 in the morning to like 1 in the morning waiting for one of their shots.
Yeah.
And it can be frustrating and tiring.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I can definitely tell how it can be a challenge on your mental health as well, and also, too, with just waiting around, waiting for that moment.
Because I know the longest one I did was this little small piece on Interview the Vampire series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually watched that.
If you see the guy that's looking at a cigarette in the background as Grey Worm, I forget what's his actual name, but he played Grey Worm in. God. Anyway, he plays the main vampire, but he walks by and you just see me looking at my cigarette.
Sam Reed. Is that? I don't know which.
Or Lestat, or
He plays not Lestat, but the
other one. Okay, Louis.
Louis, yeah. So it's through the brothel scene, and you just see me there.
Okay. But
Jasper
yeah,
holds it like he's
3
like, man,
days.
I don't know if this is a cigarette or if it's weed, but I like it,
Right. But okay, so I'm going to switch tables a little bit over to Creighton here. So I know you have a future project coming out, and my question is for you. So I know you like your vampires, since we're on the subject of vampires. So
Good segue.
So my thing is this. Tell everybody about Bloody Fangs and what this is about, the plot lines, the city of these vampires, and the mythology surrounding it.
Okay, so there's a new movie that Creighton Films is working on, and everybody that you see on screen here, they're going to be in it. I mean, like, that's one thing before I get into that. Like, Creighton Films, I made this, I wanted my film company to feel like it's the same kind of feel of, it's like, oh, I'm going on a set and I don't know nobody here. You know what I mean? We've all had that where you walk on set and it's like, oh, I'm actually a little nervous because I'm just kind of, who are these people? But I wanted it to make it almost like, that cousin that you see once a year or that crazy uncle. That it's like, look, really, I see him again. That's what I've always wanted it to feel like. And so I'm making another film called Bloody Fangs that was written by Julian Betts. This is actually his first script, his first movie, and he gave me the reins to go make it. Now, what it's basically about two vampire hunters that has a vendetta because they're half human, half vampire. and they have a vendetta against the vampire thing because, like all the other vampires, they're like CEO, filthy rich people, spoiled rotten. They're living high and large, going out partying, drinking blood, stuff like that. But the thorn in their side is these two, and they have little allies. So basically, it's like uh, the underdog that's versus the corporation. The one that you're going to root for and stuff like that. And of course, it's a Creighton Films thing. I'm going to take you through twists and turns, and I'm never going to lead you in a straight path. I'm going to take you this way, and then you're going to go whoop that way, and then whoop that way. So it's going to be a lot of fun because I plan on filming this, throwing like little homages or whatever you want to call it to old Dracula movies. So I'm gonna do like what I did with Binding by Tragedy, with like little tips of the hat up to Goodfellas, the Bronx movie, Boardwalk. Same thing. I'm gonna be tipping my hat to some, and I'm gonna see if people can catch those little Easter eggs in there. I got it.
So we actually have something from Petrie, which is also the person who did your music.
Woo!
So,
I'll let you read that. That sucker's long. Woo.
Yeah. So he says, Jasper, love the scene when you were bonding at breakfast with the kid, and at the end while getting ready for the final confrontation. Jay, love the scene when explaining Houdini and playing the cards, etc. That was actually my favorite scene as well. And at the same time, telling stories to young Bobby or other characters at the poker evening. Michelle loved what happened, how you acted to her character towards the end. Loved also the rest of the cast in the film. Good job from all of you guys. Congratulations, Creighton, on finishing the film.
Oh, yay, Petrie, our film composer. Yay, he did the music.
But yeah, I thought, and I just want to say this, Petrie's actually from, what country did you say he was from?
Finland.
Finland. That's what I had thought. Because I remember I was talking about that when we were first doing this thing, when you had your stunts person with us, though, too, and talking about the stunts, and then also, too, the scoring of the film. And I know that was a lot of editing for Petrie to do, but he lived up to the challenge and everything. I thought the scoring was fantastic with it. I thought that and to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the scoring of it, I wouldn't have had the goosebumps that I had whenever Jay was talking with the poker game, or having that heartfelt moments with Michelle with little Bobby, and even when Bobby's feeling that anger, and even in the bordello itself, when you Ryan, what are you doing in the bordello?
Hey man, we all got our secrets. Oh, right, Jay?
Yeah.
Hey man,
Don't tell me.
shit.
Hey, look, I'm just trying to get my groove on,
The reason I was like, all right, look, if I'm going to throw a little cameo, a little Quentin Tarantino thing in there, I was like, dang it, this is an action movie. I want to get beat up. But if I'm going to get beat up, I'm going to get beat up by a bunch of prostitutes. So that's what it was. So.
Oh my God. And that was a twist and a turn for me whenever I saw that. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on over here?
Well, and I knew that would help the rentals for people who don't like it as well. We're paying just to see Creighton get beat up. We'll watch it.
And having of course, someone stepping on his balls too. So
right, yeah.
But yeah, but okay. So I'm gonna segue over to Jay and everything because of the fact that he had some news that dropped yesterday, and also too, I'm a big supporter of it as well, just as I am with Creighton. But Jay, I just want to say congratulations on getting that jump started. I know you worked your butt off on it. Go on ahead, do some PR for it. I'm all for it, dude.
Well, thank you, man. So yeah, I'm actually I just recently launched a production company, Hollywood Films. It's a faith-based production company along here on the Gulf Coast. I'm originally from Los Angeles. And just like them, Jasper and Michelle were talking about, I thought it was too far-fetched to consider, pursuing anything in the film industry because I thought everything was out in LA. Come to find out there's a lot going on in Hollywood South there. So I started kind of dibbling and dabbling into the whole, New Orleans and doing background stuff, and then got featured and then this and that. And then it just, so I was like, what the hell? Let me go ahead and do my own thing here. So yeah, I just recently, you know, I wrote a film, produced it. My goodness, produced it and starring in it. But
I
but,
feel
you
you.
know, I think yeah, I think you know that'll probably be the last time I do something like that. That's just ridiculous. I wrote the thing, but I don't know the lines like that, and I'm just I'm doing everything and trying to you know and walking up to set trying to learn my lines at the same time, and it was so stressful, man. But anyway, so we're 90% done with that film. It's called Sword of the Spirit, the movie. It's loosely based on my life. You know, it's an edgy faith-based film about spiritual warfare, and you know all the invisible kind of war that and battle that we all face, you know, regardless whether what religion, race, creed, or whatever it is, you know, everybody knows that struggle daily that we fight, you know, going against whatever it is that's pushing up against us that we got to persevere through and stuff like that. So I kind of took that message because it was originally an on-stage performance that me and my family did back in 1991 in front of a live audience and stuff like that. And it was about spiritual warfare. So I took that message and kind of knew I had to do something with it. So I went ahead and wrote a film about it and stuff and pertained it to people and places and things that have actually happened in my life and stuff and how I kind of overcame them and still am overcoming them and trying to, you know, stand victorious over the principality of darkness. So I just recently, we just launched a crowdfunding campaign on Seed and Spark. And it's it's going on day 2, but I mean, I launched it kind of on a quirky little day, you know, being it's Memorial Day weekend and stuff like that, and they kind of speak against you launching on days like that. But I mean, so we have 30 days we're going to be live. It'd be awesome, you know, if you guys want to contribute to the cause and see this film, you know, bring it to light and bring it out into the world, you know, for pushing good messages out there, you know what I'm saying, and you know, it ultimately, you know, for the Lord, you know, so it's going to be on, like I said, you can go to seedandspark.com and just look up Sword of the Spirit, the movie. And we're in full effect live, you know, for 30 days. So we got a tier of rewards that, you know, based on your contribution level, you know what I'm saying? You can pick from, you know, from everywhere from $25 all the way up to, you know, 5,000, you know, everything from t-shirts, DVDs, posters, signed scripts, you know, Bible covers and being named executive, you know, producer of the film and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, a lot of cool things on the page, you know, kind of tells the backstory of you know, the film and the message and our intention with Hollywood films and stuff like that. So yeah, go to it and check us out.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I'm going to be doing a trailer reaction, stuff like that, trying to do some PR stuff for you, trying to get that out there for you. You're welcome.
Awesome.
So I'm probably going to shoot that sometime this week and have it up soon and send it over to you for that too.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
You mean Jay, that like me and Jasper could contribute money and we could put our names out there like an executive producer thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Jasper, you're going to have major bragging rights to Michael. You know, you need to do it. So, see, y'all better do it before Jasper does it, you know, because he's going to have major bragging rights to Michael. And, oh, yeah, I can see it. He's going to walk up to him and say, guess who's the producer?
Who's Michael?
You know,
right.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that was in
Don't worry about it.
directing school?
He's what?
He was the guy that was in directing school that I was talking about it earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that got him his first YouTube video out there.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, one final thing, Creighton. Speaking of twists and turns, you were talking about the twist in that film of yours. So where did you come up with that idea for the twist without having to spoil the twist? But I just wanted to get like, where did that come from? Because you know, you pulled the fast one on me when we worked together on you know, the last film that you had out. You know,
Right.
So I was just kind of curious about that too.
Well, you know, I'm always the type where it's like, okay, I'm going to think of the story, but what can I do to twist it, you know, but still make sense? What is something, I always say this, and I always live by this, if I was sitting in the audience, if I was a paying customer watching this I'm at home, what would be something that would make me not forget about this movie, or what would be an ending, or what would be something? And that's how I come up with these ideas of, you know, making a good twist turns type of Hitchcocky thing, you know. And to me, I'm just like, you know, it's just like I like to make people think it's going to be a little Disney ending, you know, like yay, Bobby is free, you know.
Psych.
You know, I'm not giving away spoilers, but you know, but then I just throw in that little wrench, and that's just my creative mind of saying, if I was sitting there and I know I've rented this or watched this on Amazon, and if I hated the movie, what would save it for me? Boom, right there, that thing, you know.
All right. Well, that's everything that I had wanted to talk to you guys about with Blinded by Tragedy. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was fantastic. All you guys did a fantastic job with this film. I didn't want to, you know, talk about individial scenes. And Frank just fell. Frank just fell. Somebody pick him up.
There we go.
I feel like we're back on set.
Yeah.
Look, man, I know that you're excited because I enjoyed the film, but you don't have to go ahead and drop stuff.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Make sure he's drinking the soda and his sugar levels are right.
I know.
You see, this is why I don't do in-person interviews, because he's going to probably try to break something in my house. But seriously, guys, it's been a blast. And the reason why I didn't want to do like individual certain scenes, because I wanted everybody else to be surprised too. Because I was surprised just by the film itself. The length of the film is perfect. Easy pacing. You don't even feel the runtime at all for it. And I think they clocked in at like, what, an hour and 40? Something like that?
Yeah, hour 43 or something.
Which is perfect, because you don't ever see movies nowadays that has that kind of runtime. Usually you see about a 2-hour movie. And even whenever I went to see John Wick, my wife's like, really? This fight scene? And here I am just stuffing popcorn in my face. I'm like, I didn't care. But, you know, with this, I didn't really feel the runtime. I thought the runtime was perfect. The characters are believable. It has a level of authenticity to it, too, which is fantastic. Michelle, you guys did a good job. Jasper, Jay, keep up the awesome work out there. Keep doing what you guys are doing. And, you know, always come back. I'm glad to have you guys back again and everything. Creighton, please don't come by the house and drop anything. Seriously.
All right. Yeah, I'll do my best. I can't promise, but I'll do my best.
So destructive, man. For like a small dude, you're so destructive. I tell you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, see me on set when my blood sugar drops. Oh, my Lord.
I had to fix so many things.
Right. But anyways, guys, have a great and safe night, and always until next time.
You too, man.
Thank you.
Goodbye.